Okay, now let's go to our text we want to write. This file is my work on Los. I call it my something. This is a kind of guideline how to work. It's very old. It's of course it's complicated to make a tutorial about how to write good texts and follow these old schemes. We know it from Alberti or Vitruvius, scenographia, orthographia, ichnographia. You can talk about it, how to name it. I find that very helpful. So with the first step, you have to specify you as a person. So you have to get your language. You know, you can't trust language anymore. So there's a lot of fake all around in the internet. And now you have to speak with your own tongue. And you have to trust the way you are talking. And by that you have to be very safe and sharp in how to use the concepts. So this is about to position yourself in the globality of talking, and you have to get your tongue, and you have to get your understanding of that. So to work on your person, this is a separate job. So I started here, and this is a kind of guideline how you can work with it. And because we don't have too much, we have very few data, you can use, for example, Google Ngram to do that. And I discussed it in a prior tutorial. And here is the result. So if we want, for example, to work with laws on ornament and crime and with all these things around there, then we have to analyze first these concepts, and if you have other texts, you simply do more analysis and save it here. So because then you can reuse it for other purposes. So this is a discussion in Ngram Viewer about the concepts in English and German and so on. And it's very important that this is abstraction from all the from all the languages. So you can work in any language, even if you don't have to talk it prior to work on it. That's the beauty with all these indexing, that you can find it without reading it, which means you are above any language. If you want to go in depth and talk, then you have this intermediate step of the automatic translation from language to language. But if you want to have it very precise, then you have to go and learn the language of your friends. But you don't have to learn prior to talk, and you don't have to read a book prior to find the proper locations of the arguments you're looking for. That's new, and this is what we want to make use of. So therefore, this is the analysis of crime. We discussed that. This is an analysis and a discussion of ornament. What I'm doing is I presented these functions. I discussed it in a prior tutorial. Then I had these kind of notes or remarks while I'm doing this research. And these are more guidelines and how-tos, and this is on comments on content. So if I like marking a text in a book, so I'm using the background color for that. So that's it. Different to that is, so here you can understand the importance and the value of a certain concept and the increasing importance of the upcoming importance of a concept and so on. Absolute, relative, that's fine. This, as I would call, analysis. If you look around with the games of a certain thing, then you try to find the friends of a concept. In this case, for example, Verbrechen is a very specific concept, and you want to discuss it in a more general way. If you want to talk about that, then you need a more abstract concept, especially if you want to talk of a 19th century concept in 2019, or of a 1900 concept with 1750. So you have to be careful because other concepts are prominent. There's another value to these things. All this is turning all the time. So in this case, for example, we have the interesting in-sync traces of crime and nature in German. And you see that nature is much more prominent, but in sync than crime. Therefore, you can translate the arguments about crime via an understanding of what nature might be. So that's an important friend of crime is nature in German language, and you can use it to translate it or make things prominent or understandable. So, yeah, these kind of discussions. So this is a context. So what are the friends of a certain conception? So, and what I think what you should do in this document is all this kind of research towards the words you will use in your writings. You can summarize them and keep them here. So it might be your personal lexicon. This means this is a kind of definition, and this is the kind of how to use it and how to instrument them for certain purposes. This is what I suggest, that you start writing this dictionary as a person. So this gets your tongue, cross language, cross any content. So that's the first thing. I call that scenographia, to do and to explicate what you as a person are in the world connected via internet. So then, having that, you're looking with los. So, and you're looking. This is what we did. In this case, you need an analysis if you want to work with los, because this is our work on los. So you have the person. So, and because of los, we look for ornament and crime, Verbrechen and ornament. We have the context of Verbrechen in German, ornament. And then we are interested in Sullivan's form follows function. So these are the discussions I have in my dictionary, my personal dictionary and lexicon. Yeah? Good. So having that in mind, being clear with the concepts I want to work with, and this can be expanded, it will be expanded over time. Then you have to get an idea of how you want to talk with los. So this is a principal storyline. So, and I would say after this analysis, it would be interesting, this is my interest, I would first talk with los about the lost nature and the role of ornament there. Then there will be a turning point with, so this is a kind of discussion of the status quo. This is the turning point. We want to talk about art, erotic, and responsibility. Yeah, this is the projective thing. And then we want to talk about crime, economy and crime. So this is the opposing part. So this is what we want to establish. These are our opponents in this situation. So this is what I would say might be interesting to write and to write about and talk with Los about. So this is my storyline. This is my agenda. This is the motivation why I am doing that in a few concepts. And so it gets interesting because of nature ornament. If you look it up, this is an interesting constellation. You have the very specific concepts and you have the very generic concepts, and then you have the things we want to talk about in detail. But that's scenographia.